All right, we're live. Hello, everyone. So excited to be here today with my good friend, Kate Simpson. I'm Jody Solberg, and we're going to be talking about how to transform your mind so you can transform your body and transform your life through energy healing and hypnotherapy. I'm a certified master hypnotherapist, and one of my specialties is helping you to change patterns of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And Kate and I are very complementary. We've been working together for a very long time now and really successfully helping people to release those negative emotions, those negative thoughts, those negative behavior patterns so that they can absolutely change their lives. And so, Kate, thanks so much for being here with me today. Excited to tell people a little bit more about what we do and about these inner healing sessions that we offer. So, what would you like to share about what you do?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks. Yeah, I'm an energy healing practitioner. I've been doing this work for a number of years now, and it's always so inspiring to see the immediate shifts and transformations people experience when they really dive into what's under the surface that they didn't know that was there, they didn't know it was trapped, and releasing those things so that they can transform their mind, their body, their life. And so, with energy healing, I help you discover trapped energies, trapped emotions, things that are stuck and blocked in your body that are, psychologically, physically, spiritually, everything. It's all connected. And I love what we do together. I love our collaboration because really it takes the best of what we both do. And together it creates this wonderfully compound effect that people experience when working with us together. So I like to share my part of it kind of in a simple little wave of what happens when you have an emotion. Emotions are kind of the primary thing that I help you discover. A lot of times in life, we tend to bottle or trap up our emotions. And that actually creates kind of a physical effect on your body, a physical reaction. And I always show it like everything's energy in its purest form, your thoughts, your emotions, your physical body, the world around you. And your body actually produces the emotions that we feel. And when you have an emotion, good or bad, it's kind of like your body produces it, you feel it here at the top, and then it moves right along. That's how it should be. But we all have those times in life that are stressful and overwhelming or scary, or something happens. And what we don't realize too is a lot of this stuff happens not only just as adults in everyday life, but a lot of times as children, we're just new to our emotions. We're new to understanding what these things called emotions are. And so even joyful emotions, negative emotions, fear, stress, whatever it is, we are learning to develop, and we're experiencing emotions. And a lot of these emotions get trapped when we're much, much younger, when we are in childhood, or even when we're being developed in the womb. So we have these emotions, everybody has them. Everybody has suppressed energies, and it's nothing that anyone should feel like stuck or blocked about, or upset that they have these, because we all do. And so it's kind of like we felt this emotion, and instead of allowing that to be felt, we suppressed it, we trapped it in our body. And that disrupts our organs and our glands and our tissues, and it affects how we behave and emotional patterns that we experience. And if we're trying to make positive changes in our lives, and we're setting new goals for ourselves, and we have these trapped energies, it can disrupt our ability to feel safe enough to change. And so that's why releasing this energy, these trapped energies, is so, so powerful. And that's kind of why Jody and I combine together with what we do, because I can help release those trapped energies. And then when you combine that with what Jody does, helping to repattern and reprogram the subconscious mind, now you're really in a space where transformation can happen. And so that's kind of why we came together, and we work so complementary together. But I'd love it, Jody, if you'd share just a little bit about how, when I'm done releasing energy, kind of what you do and how you take people to the next level after the energy's kind of gone, that stuck energy's, finally freed from the body.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks so much, Kate. That was such a great explanation of what it is that you do. Because what happens, just like Kate was saying, is often those root causes, those, you know, weeds, as I like to call them, right? The weeds that keep popping up in our lives, and then we try to mow them over, and they keep popping up, and we mow them over again. They have roots, and often those are from childhood, like you said, womb beyond. And so what happens is we're like this open subconscious sponge when we're children, and we're bringing everything in. We're absorbing all of it. There's really no filter there. And we're having things modeled for us. So, how to deal with emotions, if it's safe to express emotions and to have those, and how do we process and release them, or do they get suppressed? And so, we learn these patterns of how we either move through the emotion or we keep it stuck. And those things often keep coming up in different ways because they are suppressed. They're stuck in our nervous system and our subconscious. Our mind body connection is so strong, right? They're not separate. Often in our society, we're kind of taught to disconnect, like our mind's over here and our body's over here somewhere. And that is absolutely not the case. They're completely connected. And so, like you were saying, Kate, all of those emotions that are those physiological responses in our bodies that we put words to, those thoughts, the patterns that keep coming up over and over again, all of that's going to affect us physically. And our bodies are going to speak to us and tell us what's stuck and where. And so when Kate is releasing this trapped energy and emotion, then we want to make sure that that doesn't keep happening over and over and over again, because you can go right back into those old patterns of getting those emotions and those energies stuck again in those same ways often, or in a different way. It may manifest, the weed might pop up over here instead of over there, but it's still the same pattern. And so what I do, like Kate had mentioned, is I go in and help you to reprogram and repattern your subconscious mind so that you have a new path to choose. We can basically find that root very gently without having to go back into the memories or re-traumatize, anything like that. It's a very, very gentle process of helping you to identify that, pull that out, heal that area, and then replace it with more fertile soil and something that's going to serve and support you better. So you get to really experience that sustainable change rather than just that short-lived relief, and then all of a sudden you feel like those things are being trapped or stuck again. A lot of times people will say like they feel stuck, or they feel like they are in a spiral. And I know, Kate, you always say there's no such thing as being stuck. You just have stuck energy. And I love that, because it's so true that, what we tell ourselves about ourselves, our subconscious is always looking for the evidence to back that up. And so if we're so focused on being stuck, and we're saying, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, your subconscious is going to look for all the ways that you're stuck, and you're going to keep feeling that way. That's part of that pattern. But when we can help you release that and shift that pattern, and not be telling yourself over and over again how stuck you are, so that you're continuing to get those emotions and energy stuck inside of you, then it makes all the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so powerful. And like you said, so important that you talk about it's sustainable. And that's, there's a lot we can work on, there's so much, if you're watching this video, you're probably someone who is forward thinking and has a growth mentality, and you're looking for ways to, better certain areas of your life, whether that's a chronic physical condition, or whether that's like an emotional thing, or, personal growth, or you're growing a business, or you're trying to achieve certain health goals. It's important to know that, like, whatever you do, it needs to be sustainable. And sometimes we try to make changes on a conscious level, and the roots that you shared and you talked about are subconscious. And so you can't consciously kind of work your way through it or through willpower, try to force it, because there's something underneath. And that underneath is both stuck energy and this need to then guide that subconscious to that new choice, to that new approach, that new future. And so I think it's so important that people know that even, when you make the tiniest of shift, when you do something like our inner healing session, it is really profound because it creates that sustainable change. And I think that's what really makes what we do together very, very unique. And I just love it. So yeah, we've created these incredible inner healing sessions on all kinds of different topics that people can plug into. And it's really a powerful session because you're talking about getting the best of both of what we do. And in 1 hour, we take the first part of that hour and I dive into the energy healing work, releasing that stuck energy, releasing what's trapped or suppressed. Very often, it's a lot of emotions that you've trapped and suppressed throughout your life. And sometimes we find some other things that just need alignment, or some other type of mental energy or thought pattern that can show up that we can just gently and easily release. And the beauty of the energy healing part is you don't have to talk about what happened or why this energy got stuck or trapped. You don't have to remember a situation. You don't have to remember why or what that emotion was. If I gently release it. And then Jody's able in the second part of our inner healing session to guide you through this hypnotic meditation. And it's just a very powerful 1 hour session that's perfect for someone who on one hand might just be brand new to what we do and might not have ever experienced energy healing, or maybe haven't had worked with hypnosis before. And you're wondering like, okay, is this safe for me? Is this what's going on with me? This is a wonderful inner healing session, is a great place to start. But it's also profound for somebody who's maybe had a lot of energy work, maybe done a lot of personal growth, but just needs kind of like a maintenance check and a tune in to, okay, things are going good. I've worked a lot on myself. I'm continuing to work on this, but you know what? There's something there that I think there's some resistance to, and I really want to, transform in this new way. And this is a perfect approach, is our 1 hour inner healing sessions. So
Yeah.
do you have anything you want to share about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to share the link first of all.
Yes.
So I'll put that up on the screen. And I think it's really key what you were saying is, if somebody is familiar with one of us, but maybe not the other one, or they're new to both hypnotherapy and to healing with energy, I think it's important to know that this is such a great opportunity to try it out for yourself and to see what that's all about. Like Kate was saying, it's a very relaxing experience. Absolutely. And I think it's important for people to understand that, even though these things are below the surface, it's still them opting in to do that work. They always say all hypnosis is self-hypnosis because it's your choice. You get to choose to relax and choose to release these things. And so if you want to make those changes, this is such a gentle, as I was saying earlier, non-invasive way to do that, to be able to release those and feel better really quickly. I mean, an hour session is not a very long time, but you really do get a profound effect from it. I know both of us have experienced that with each other in doing this work together. And so many people who've gone through our inner healing sessions have had really incredible results because of that combination of being able to release those trapped, stuck energies and emotions, and then to break the patterns, right? Break those cycles. So I think this is such a great place for people to start with us if they've been curious, if they're interested, if they want to see what it's all about. our inner healing sessions are such a great entry point. They're really inexpensive. They're only $67 for the hour, and they can pick their topic. You can go through this link. So if you just go to bit.ly/inner healing session, you can look at our full calendar and you can see all the different types of topics and pick whatever resonates with you, whatever feels that it's something you'd be called to try to do to shift things in your life, and know that you can come to one of them. You can come to all of them if you would like to. And we do have opportunities to work with us on a deeper level where you can get the energy healing and then do that change work with me. And so please know that, we're here to answer questions. We're here to support. So if you're curious, if you want to know more, you can feel free to message us. You can comment below the video and we can absolutely respond there. But it's an invitation to just see what kinds of changes you can make for the better in your life, whether that's something you want to do for, a mindset change or shift, something to have to do with your business, relationships, your body, any of those things, because again, our minds and our bodies are very connected. So it's really important to realize that, often when people are feeling stuck in business, it has to do with their subconscious, and it has to do with energy, stuck in relationships, stuck at a certain weight or in a health condition. All of those things are affected by our minds. And when we're talking about bodies, for example, we have Transform Your Body, Transform Your Life coming up next week, for example. And even the CDC will say that at least 85% of physical health conditions have a psychological component. And so it's really important to remember that, only 5 to 10% is in our conscious awareness. Everything else is below the surface. And we don't always get to, like you were saying, Kate, willpower our way through things. We try, but from that conscious mind, it's very, very limited. And so that's where, when we're talking about energy, when we're talking about subconscious programming, that's where we keep getting back into those same cycles. And that's why what we do, especially what we do together, is so effective, is because we're working in that 90 to 95% that we can't see at that conscious level, and we can't just push our way through to making changes on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think it's a big myth that you can just push your way through things. There's a lot that I think is taught with, just say the right affirmation, and I believe words are powerful. That's not to say that that's not a powerful thing, but a lot of times we're just taught, okay, well, just work harder towards that goal, or it's got to be this specific way of eating, or this specific type of movement, or this specific type of, mental, and that you can just push your way through things. And in reality, I'm not saying that doesn't work. In some cases, you can have that conscious control, but you're going to hit some kind of roadblock or stopping point. And that's really because subconsciously those roots are there holding you back. And that's really the power of going to that subconscious, like you said, 90 to 95% under the surface. And I think that's just a big myth that people need to realize, that, you need to work on a subconscious level to really just get to true lasting change. And it's easier than you think to heal. I mean, it really is. It's something that, once you have the right support and the right training and the right tools to kind of guide you and help you, the release is just very gentle. It's very easy. And people, I mean, we could share a little bit about some of the results too. It's people notice, like, instantly after they have sessions with us, that they're feeling lighter. I mean, that's probably the most immediate thing people feel is, wow, I just feel lighter. I feel so relaxed. I feel a sense of peace, I think, is a big one, because a lot of times there's a lot of, like, mental beating up on ourselves, and that just is gone. And then people just feel a lot of, like, where they've maybe had pressure or tension in their body, and that just eases up. I can share for myself that my jaw was really, really tight, and I kind of had this chronic tightness in my jaw. And we had done a session, and it was a session for a group of people, and lo and behold, during the session, I had my own experience with it, because it's the tension released. But ever since then, again, we talk about sustainable change. It's like my subconscious understands now, when I'm triggered in a certain way and my jaw starts tightening up, that it can choose a new path and release that tension. So the intention of my jaw is gone, because we created a new path, a new pattern. So there's so many different results that people share, that are immediate, and just even being able to sleep better at night, just handle stress better, all of that.
Yeah, all of those things are such incredible results that make a difference in people's lives immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And so it does not have to take a long time to feel a
No.
shift, to make a change. Absolutely, especially when we're working on that subconscious and energetic level. So I'm going to put the link up one more time for everyone. And so absolutely visit the calendar, check it out, decide that you want to give yourself a chance and see what this is all about. When we talk about our inner healing sessions, it really is your own inner healing. You are the one making those changes. We're just there to help guide and facilitate that change with you. So it's a collaboration, and we're really excited to share more about what we are doing with the world, because we have been seeing such great results. So thanks so much for joining me today, Kate. This was wonderful. And for everybody watching, again, feel free, reach out to us if you have questions. If you have any feedback you would like to share, you can feel free to do that in the comments or send us DMs. And we will look forward to seeing you at one of our inner healing sessions very soon.